An old favourite of mine, The Living Daylights, is at number 5. Following on from the success of A View to a Kill, the Bond producers again opted for a male band to perform the theme song. And just like Duran Duran's effort, it's catchy and works well as a Bond theme, with a definite Bond sound. As for the opening title sequence, it starts off with some strong imagery, but then descends into the usual random shots of scantily clad girls, which lets the song down. I've always had a soft spot for the champagne flute girl at the end though. Water is a strong theme throughout for some reason, which doesn't really fit with the film. The early sequences were good for fitting the imagery with the theme of the film, whereas I guess the content of The Living Daylights made this difficult. Still, we were spared random appearances of Roger Moore popping up with firing laser beams from his Walther. Next up is Duran Duran's View to a Kill, a firm favourite and probably the best theme since Live and Let Die. Having watched all of the opening sequences in quick succession for the making of this video, this song comes as a breath of fresh air following the romantic attempts in the earlier Moore films. His films were blighted by 4 of them in a row, albeit the first of which being the random Bond clip backing track, Nobody Does It Better. Thankfully, they went for a change of direction for Moore's last. However, it would have been better suited for the first film of a new, younger Bond. It was, of course, the most successful Bond theme until Skyfall and Writings on the Wall came along, but it still hasn't been beaten in the US chart. The opening sequence shows the apparent new discovery of glow-in-the-dark paint with the theme of Ice Against Fire, inspired by the lyrics and the icy start to the film. Again though, the theme doesn't really fit with the film as a whole, with the skiing aspect of the film not returning beyond the opening. Moore makes random appearances throughout as well, firing laser beams from his gun. The start is very good though, and probably one of the best reveals of the 007 logo. At number 3 is Skyfall by Adele, a return to a solo female artist for the first time since Die Another Day's Madonna. And what an improvement! The song is excellent, catchy, and very easy to sing along to. It works well as a standalone single, and helped by Adele's mass appeal, this explains why the song did so well on the charts and at the Oscars. This is what a Bond theme should be. Goldfinger obviously started the whole trend of big, bold theme songs, but wasn't very subtle. This also works well to fit with the film. As for the opening sequence, wow. Thank God they got Daniel Kleinman back again. This is quite possibly my favourite. This is how it should be done. Great imagery which fits with the theme of the film. We of course knew Bond wasn't dead, but the sequence still fills you with melancholy. 50 years later, how much longer can he go on for? Is there ever going to be a time when Bond films end? This is what came to mind with images of Bond burning and buildings crumbling. The black and white sequence featuring Bond girls also works well, particularly with the flourish of hair. Going old school for the number 2 slot, this song really is a classic. Who needs a big recording artist to perform the theme tune when you have John Barry and his orchestra? A very good song with a distinctive 60s sound. It will have you humming along after you've heard it. Although not overly necessary, given a modern day update it still works tremendously well, as evidenced by the excitement caused by it featuring in the second Spectre trailer. Not only did it show it would work with the modern day Bond, it also transported people back to what, by many Bond fans, is considered one of the best Bond films. It was also pleasing to hear something from Majesty's featured in the promotion of a new film, considering it is sometimes forgotten in favour of Connery or Moore films. This could be considered blasphemous to Bond fans, but I've never been a massive fan of Maurice Binder's opening sequences. There must be some artistry that people on a certain level can appreciate, but most are just random images of silhouetted Bond girls prancing, dancing and running about. I preferred the earlier examples of images and text projected onto them, before he was let loose on more advanced techniques. Many appear rushed, mainly because he was known to leave them until the last minute. However, Majesty's works extremely well. Not only does the imagery relating to Great Britain featuring Bond girls work, but the whole time ticking away theme, alongside imagery of previous Bond films, fits with where Majesty slots into the whole Bond series. The producers were understandably worried when Connery left, so the idea that time moves on and changes need to be made hopefully makes the audience more supportive of a new Bond. Linking this film directly with previous Bond outings reminds them that it is the same character who shares the same history that audiences have already experienced. The images provide audiences with a nice dose of nostalgia, bearing in mind that this was at a time before videos, when re-watching Bond films wasn't possible unless there was a cinema re-release. To top it all off, it's accompanied with a kick-ass tune. And finally, my number one theme tune is You Know My Name by Chris Cornell. I've noticed this song has been topping many lists lately. It just works so well as a Bond theme, and again as a standalone song. It's a bold choice of song, particularly as it doesn't mention the title of the film in a song designed to relaunch Bond after a long break, and has a relative unknown in Chris Cornell performing it. But then again, the title suggests that although we have a new Bond, you know the character and he's back once more. It has parallels to the GoldenEye publicity campaign when Brosnan announces, "You're expecting someone else?" And nothing against female artists, see number 3, but it was nice to have a male artist performing the theme song for the first time since The Living Daylights. Let's be fair, the last song we got was Madge's Dine of the Day. Anything would be an improvement over that. Alongside the song, we have Kleinman's tremendous opening sequence, tied with Skyfall as the best. If it were purely based on the imagery and not the song, Kleinman would take all 5 slots. Notably, this is the only sequence, not including the brief appearance of Eva Green's face, where Bond girls do not feature. The designs are fantastic and immediately striking. Some standout moments include the falling man exploding into various coloured hearts, and the image of Craig and the King of Spades firing at the same time. The colours are great and immediately remind you of the colours of a casino setting. And those are my top 5. Let me know if you agree with my choices or if I've made a glaring omission. Some honourable mentions just outside the top 5 are Live and Let Die, GoldenEye, Goldfinger, and the not an official primary Bond theme, Surrender. If you have ideas of other top 5 lists you would like me to consider, let me know. I'll get around to the obvious ones eventually.